What is up, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome back to the channel. My name is John Collins. I'm the owner of Risen Holster Co. And like you saw in the title, we are going to be making a new product today for the website. So this is something that I've been kind of messing around with for the last several months. If any of you all have seen my previous videos, you've seen this little guy here. This is a appendix style inside the waistband magazine carrier, but specifically made for IWB carry. So this is something that a little different than how we're making them now. I'm going to go into that in the video, and then at the end of the video kind of show you guys why it is that we're moving over to this and why these are so much better than the other stuff. So check it out. All right, so here's the carrier again. A little bit closer up view from where I just showed you guys. Like I said, I've been wearing this for probably about the last 6 months now. You probably have seen this in a couple of my videos where I've been showing it along with the holster. I like to carry this in conjunction with my appendix holster. It just sits right beside it, and it kind of works like you're wearing a sidecar, but without the connection in between. So it gives you a little bit more freedom of movement. I can slide these further apart or together from the holster, and just gives you a little bit more of a customization there on the comfort of it. You can see this one utilizes the tuckable style clip mounting holes. They have the discrete carry concepts, HLR Mod 4s, but it will also work with like the RCS overhooks or any of the other ones that have that same hole pattern. And it also has a magazine retention device. So this I'm going to get into at the end to show why we really want to do this now and how cool this is, what it affords when you are making these holsters. But for now, we're just going to get into making the holster itself. So start out here with our magazine mold. Now, for anybody that is getting into making holsters and you're looking at molds and all that kind of stuff, this came from Plan B Holsters. They have a website online, have a bunch of different options. They also have a lot of stuff that you can just reach out to them if you're looking for something specific. But definitely good company for getting this kind of stuff from. There's a bunch of companies that make magazine molds, but the end style that you get out of these, like what they look like when they're done, which would be this guy here, just looks a lot nicer, cleaner. There's not quite so much open space as you will see on some of them. These ones have closed bottoms where some other carrier molds will leave the bottom open. So just aesthetically, these Plan B ones seem to look nicer to me, more of the style that I want it to look for. But anyways, if you're looking for a mold, definitely go look up Plan B Holsters. I'll leave a link in the description for their website if y'all want to take a look at it. But pretty simple to mock these things up. All we are going to do is get a couple of our pieces of blocking that we would typically use for our tuckable style clips, and we're going to mount them on here. Now, I'm going to mount them kind of off to the side here, like at an angle, because what that'll do is, find a clip here. Here's one of the 1 series clips. As you can see, the way this one's made, it's not perfectly straight. It allows, once this is sitting on your belt perpendicular, this allows the magazine to kind of ride at a little bit of an angle. So a little bit easier to get a hold of when you're drawing. It also is a little bit more comfortable because it's sitting a little sideways. It can kind of move back and forth a little bit easier that way. So that is what we're going to match with this style here. So basically just going to tape these things on here just like this. And then you can also see, if I remove this for a second, the space is already allotted in here. But what my plan is we'll take our monoblock clip and we're going to set that on there after we've got this thing pressed, and we'll be able to drill the holes to allow this to be canted or mount it this way. So you'll have the option once these hit the website to buy it with the monoblock clip or buy it with one of our tuckable clip options and have all that adjustability, and then they'll have all the mounting holes so that they can be reversed. They'll be fully ambidextrous, so left or right-handed, and then also just being able to add stuff down the road should you decide to move from one clip to another. So anyway, I'm going to block this up, skip ahead for you guys so you don't have to see all the little details of it, and then I'll take you over to our vacuum table so you can see it get pressed. All right, turn the light on, get some of these shadows out, but here is the mold now that that's taped on. I put a little extra tape around the bottom here to try to keep the Kydex from sucking up underneath the blocking as much as possible. There's going to be a little bit of that, but The next thing you're going to need, if you are planning on making these yourselves, is one of these jigs. So it is possible to do the membraneless forming on our regular board with these things, but you can see because of how thick they are, it takes a lot of Kydex to basically get around this thing and make a seal. And so if you get a hold of Plan B holsters, they make these things, and these just snap right in. And now you can see that I have far less space that I need to get the Kydex to come down and make contact with. And then this thing just ties to the vacuum tube, goes up to our pump, and it's slotted in the bottom. So you do still have to drill these out, but the air can go through them, catch into these channels, go straight out the tube in the back. It's much, much more efficient, uses far less Kydex. They even have an option where you can buy these mag carrier molds in doubles and then get the table made so that it'll hold that whole entire thing. That way every time you press, it takes 8x12 sheet of Kydex, and you can make 2 molds or 2 carriers out of 1 press. So pretty efficient. At the time I bought all this stuff, I was much, much smaller than where I am now, and didn't have the need to make them in that volume. But now at a point that I do wish I would have gone ahead and sprung for that back then. But anyway, cool little tip. So get this Kydex heated up, and then we'll press this thing. All right, so here it is. It is drilled, deburred. I went ahead and cut out the excess material. Obviously, we're going to cut a little bit more, but I like to fold it first before we get into doing that. But next step is to fold it, and then in doing that, we also add in our magazine retention device. So you can see the set screw in the back of it here. Just take a Allen key here, and as you tighten this guy, you'll see it wants to press out on that paddle. So that is how you set your retention. So I'm going to go ahead and stage that in here. Go ahead and stick our slotted posts in. Grab a mag and get it folded. You'll see that, and then I'll go ahead and cut that final shape, go ahead and get it all buffed and all that stuff, and we will come back over here and see our final product. All right, so over here at the heat strip, go ahead and set this guy on there and let him get hot. And then we'll take our mag. I also put a little bit of tape on this to just kind of help pad things out just a little bit. It's not 100% necessary, but I feel like it gives just a little tiny bit better fit than just doing it with the magazine bare. Words are hard. But I'll let this thing continue to get hot here. I like to keep an eye on it because we can go from just hot enough to too hot very, very quickly, and obviously we don't want to do that. So as it starts getting soft, try to flex it back and forth. Found that seems to help the sight channel to be a little straighter if it gets a little flexibility in it at this point. Then once we got it to about right there, go ahead and fold it, line those holes up, go ahead and stick our mag in there, make sure that's in the right spot, and then take a clamp and get us some pressure on it here. And this will just ensure that everything stays put as it cools off. Also like to pinch this little spot right here. Actually might just take a smaller clamp to stick on that and hold it in place. Like I said earlier, I just like the aesthetic of having a closed bottom to it. Just looks a little nicer than having the mag half hanging out the bottom of it there. Anyway, there she blows. We'll let her cool off. Like I said, I'm going to go ahead and finish cutting out the final shape, give it a buff, throw the rest of the hardware and the clip on it, and then I will see you guys back over at the forming table. All right, so here you go. Here is the mag all completely finished. As you can see, we've got holes for the monoblock, tuckable clips, fully ambidextrous. Now, why do we want one of these? Why are we switching to it? So here is the kind of the big reveal for the video. So I formed this on an X Macro mag. You can see that it fits in there just fine. But the X Macro mag shares dimensions with many other mags. So now, instead of needing a individual carrier for each one of the magazines that you own, we are going to have 2 mags. So this one is meant, this is a bigger size, meant for more of your double stack Glock, and I'll show you those in a second. But here's a quick rundown of, here's a FN 509, fits in there pretty good. It's a Taurus G2C, similar to their G3C, GX4, all those mags, kind of the same dimension, fits in there good. Springfield Hellcat, this one's a little short, but does fit. This is a Pro Mag brand, but it's for the Canic TP9 SFX, so fits in there just fine. This is a PDP, fits in there just fine. And here's where it's really cool. So say you've got a Glock 43X, or say it's a Palmetto State Armory Dagger, the micro dagger. Those will run a 43X mag, they will run a Dagger mag, or they'll run the Shield Arms S15 mags. Now, if you were to hand form on these mags, they do not interchange at all. None of these mags will fit in a mag carrier made for the other one. But if you have something designed like this, now you have the option to run all 3 with no issues whatsoever. Adjust this little device on the back to set the retention to exactly what you want. And then if you have, like I said, any of these other firearms, you can use the same mag carrier for all of them. Now, if you were to move up, I put the monoblock on just to show the monoblocks on here, but you know, base of the holster is the same as this one, just a little bigger. But this is made for your Glock standard double stack mags. Something we've had issue with in the past at times is, say you're running the OEM ones. Now these have a steel liner on the inside, so even once they're loaded to full capacity, they maintain their shape. Say you're using one of these ETS mags. You load these things at full capacity, they're just plastic. They have a tendency to kind of want to expand in the middle a little bit. And if you're hand forming these on the OEM mags, maybe these are a little tight, not exactly the right fit. Again, using the universal style, you can use them both pretty easily. No issues at all. Here is a Smith & Wesson M&P magazine here. Now this is kind of an in-between. They fit in here just fine. You can adjust them down, no issues at all, but there's a tiny little bit of wobble that way, versus if you were to stick it in one of these ones, they do fit, but they do fit a little tight. So it's kind of an in-between size. Run them either way, depending on what you're looking for. Same with the SIG P320. I've got a little Bondo on this, but you know, overall dimensions. Still a little tight in this mag here, but fits just fine. And the double stack one, just get a little tiny bit of wobble back and forth. But let me show you, once this device is tightened down to fit it, about there, you get a tiny little bit of wobble, but good retention that way. And the cool thing about these is you can crank these down where it is almost impossible to yank these dumb things out. So definitely a lot of customization as far as your retention goes when you're using these things. Anyway, if you're watching this video, these will now be live on our website. You'll be able to purchase them in all the different colors, different clip options. We'll have size 1, size 2, and I'll have a list in the description box down below that kind of lists what mags and what brands fit in what size, so you can keep that straight. But pretty cool. Nice new addition to add to the website. All right, so thank you guys for tuning in. Really appreciate you guys sticking around and watching the whole video. If you're still with us at this point, if you haven't liked or subscribed, please do so. If you're new to the channel, definitely please subscribe. And I know typical analytics, like everybody says on all their videos, we've got a very, very small fraction of the people who actually view our videos that subscribe. So if you're one of those that has been coming back for several of our videos and haven't subscribed yet, please do so as well. Appreciate you guys tuning in. Appreciate again all the support, and we'll see you guys in future videos. God bless.